When you have content that needs to organize into columns and rows, could be a text, numbers, even images. For example, your best bet is to use a table. And Word 2019 has a number of table tools, some of which we are going to explore in this movie. We left off here in page 2, having put some of our content into 2 columns. Just click down at the very end of the last paragraph after the period after the word it. Let's say we want to create this table that's going to outline 3 days agenda for the conference that coming up. Well, we should put it on its own page. The very first step is to create the page break so that we can start on the first page. Let's do that by going up to Layout tab. Make sure it is still selected and click the breaks drop down and choose the page right there at the top. Now we want a brand new page. But are we ready to go? Well, we were working in 2 columns here in page 2. We are probably still working on 2 columns down here on the new page. Well, the best way to know that for sure is to turn on the ruler. Let's go up to the View tab. Next, we will click the checkbox next to ruler, and with that turned on, you can see that at the top of a ruler, down the left hand side another ruler showing up vertical steps. Well, looks to me like we can see our left margin, our right margin, and then something in the middle. Here represent the space between columns. Yep, those are column margins, and that's something that we don't want. We want to go back to a single column. You might thinking go up to the Layout tab, clicking columns and then choose one, but don't do that. Choosing one will use a default, and that's gonna apply a single column to all of your document. So instead we need to go down to more columns, and you will see here if you choose one, it would apply to this section. We haven't even talked about the section yet, but we are working on the one single section for our document. So the entire thing would go onto single column. What we want to do is apply it for this point forward. Click the drop down and choose this point forward, and then click OK. There we go. So now we are looking at the ruler across the top, not seeing any column markers. We are ready to go. Let's start adding a title and type in the following: Annual Health Conference, all in caps. And let's format this. So click there and drag over the content right to the E in conference. And we will keep the same font face, but keep the drop down and the font size choose 26. And I think we can change the color as well. Font color right here from the format toolbar. Let's choose that something like dark gray. There we go. Now you can click anywhere and deselect that and press enter to go to the next line. Now before we add our title, let's change our font back now. We'll go back to home page, leave it in Calibri, click the drop down and we will go back to 10. That way we are not creating table that's ready to accommodate such a huge text. Can also change the color back. And let's go black, and now we can insert our table, and it's easily done from the insert table. Go ahead and click there. Now you would think this out before inserting the table. Let's say we want agenda. There are 3 days worth of agenda items. So that's 3 rows we will need at least. We will need content under each of those 3 days. So another 3. So in total of 6 rows. And let's say we want to have an image on the left. The times in the next column is the information in the third column. So really that we want a table that's going to be 3 columns by 6 rows. Click the table drop down and you will see the number of different ways to create the table. At the top of the grid, as you hover over the grid, you are going to see the table that would be looks like if you were to make that selection. For example, if you go 3 across the 6 down, that could create the table that we need to use in exact column with the same thing for the rows, but it's a good starting point. Another option is to insert table, and this will give you more options. You will even now get to choose a design, and you can even draw a table by clicking and dragging your mouse. What we are going to do is use a grid. That's the easiest way. So let's go to 3 by 6. you will see that at the top, and when you have that 3x6 table ready, just click and insert it for you. Just like that, notice the table tool appear on the ribbon with design and layout tab. So we can start doing things like changing our design. First of all, because we have turned on the ruler, we can see markers represent each of the columns, and we can adjust those just by clicking and dragging. For example, let's move this one over to about the inch, and now we'll move the next one over to the around the 2-inch mark, and now we can move the right side of all the way up to the around the 7-inch mark. You can see already is the table looking very different. Next, we'll go in here and let's say we want to put in the table and the title of the conference. In this case, day 1 would appear at the top, the day 2 a little further down, and day 3 and the actual date. On that case, we might want to join these together, so click and drag from the first cell across. You will see all the 3 cells in the first row selected. Now with our table tools, you can do things like join those together. Click the layout tab, you will see an option to merge cells. Doing that turns them into the one big cell. We can do the same for the 3 cells of couple of rows down. And again skip the row and do the same to merge those, starting to take shape. Click anywhere inside the table and we want to type in the following: day 1, the space and the dash and the space. We will type the date like Tuesday, December 4th. There we go, and then we can go down a couple of rows and type the day 2, leave a space, and that will be Wednesday, December 5th, and let's get the day 3 in the day as well. That's going to be a Thursday, December 6th. So we have some content in there. It's not looking all the fancy, but we are ready to start putting things in some of these other cells. We are going to put images into these empty cells in the first column. We will save that for the later. Next, we will put in some times, and then next to those some agenda items. For example, if we go down here and if we count across and down, this is actually if we across and down, that's the column 2, row 2. Click inside, just type the first time, 839. You can also use tab key to move the next cell. So while you are typing, it's a little bit quicker than reaching for the mouse and the type in after you click. Type the registration and continental breakfast. Now, when you press enter, you can see you are creating an extra line for the content. When we click the cell previous, can't click below. We need to press enter here as well as type in the time next time. Type in one more time. Let's do for 10:15 to 10. Hit the tab key and you can see it highlighted the text. We already press enter, so we can click just below type in one more thing, and that's opening remarks. Okay, that's enough typing for now. Let's do a little bit of the formatting. Let's go to the first cell up here at the top. When we go up to design, you can see there are some presets designs to choose from if we wanted to. So we could start with any of these and you hover over them. You can see the background, some things changing, but I don't see anything that really applies to us. So just click in the background, close that up. Instead in the first cell at the top, let's change the shading for that cell. Notice there are shading drop down. We will go to nice dark gray, and with the dark gray, notice we don't see very well what we type in there. So we can click and drag the change the text color. Go back to home tab. Text color should probably in white in this case. It will make it look easier to see on that gray background. Just click anywhere to see what that looks like. Alright, let's do a little more formatting with this text. We will select it and let's bump it up to, let's go up to 20 points. Think that's a fit nice, see? And there we go, and maybe center it. You get the idea. We will go to same thing down below, but for now you can see what's happening. Our table is starting to take shape. What I don't think we need in this line, separating the items and actual agenda item. So click in the cell, and when we go back to the design and layout tabs up here, you can see we have options for borders. Borders has its own drop down and form. We can apply just the left border if we wanted to, or we want no border at all on the left. All of these presets are here. Just move over the see what it's going to look like. Now with no border you can see what happens. It's hard to see, but on the right there are no border and we do need it in there. Maybe we only need the right border of a left border missing. That's the one we are after. Choose left border. You can see it's just removes. It's still separate cell. Looks like it's all joined as one. But we can do that down below for the others as well. Choose left, and we are ready to continue filling this out formatting. So I am going to end things here. You can get the idea about inserting table and formatting.